Wednesday, January 9, 2013, License and Variance Board for the City of Smyrna. For the record, the members that are present today, I'm Jason Lanyon, I'm the Fire Chief. To my right is Roy Acree, the Deputy Fire Chief. To my left is Rosemary Rivera, the Executive Assistant to the City Administrator. She'll be keeping the minutes. And to her left is Scott Stokes, the Public Works Director. We've got a fairly short agenda, and we'll move through pretty quick. When you hear your item, if you would step to the podium. When you do step to the podium, please make sure that you speak clearly into the microphone because the meeting is recorded. And when you do step up, if you would, state your name and how you're a party to the case or your address if it's pertinent. The first order, the first business we have under 2A on the agenda is issue Z13-001, public hearing variance request V13-001, encroachment on the 25-foot impervious setback from stream buffer, 0.6 acre tract, land lot 415 at 835 Flagler Circle, Fairbanks Property Services. Is anybody here for that? Morning.
My name is Joel Powell.
Could you pull the mic up, please?
Oh, absolutely. Sorry about that.
It's all right.
My name is Joel Powell, and we have been contracted by the homeowner at 835 Flagler Circle to do an addition to the existing structure. And we are asking for an encroachment into the 25-foot stream buffer impervious setback, but it will be no further encroachment than the existing structure is already on the property, the existing house.
Okay. It'll be no further than it already is. So it's already existing, non-compliant.
It's existing. The house. It's non-compliant existing. Exactly.
Okay, and you're not asking for anything further?
Anything further, no, sir.
Okay. Can we hear from Community Development?
Good morning, Joe.
I'm Joey Stobbs, Planner 1 with Community Development. This is 835 Flagler Circle. It's a request to encroach into the 25-foot impervious setback. Community Development has reviewed the application. Signs have been posted. The city engineer has reviewed the request, and we have recommended approval.
Okay. Rusty, is there anything you need to add? No. Okay.
Well, I got a question for the applicant.
Okay.
Morning, Mr. Stokes.
How are you?
Doing well, you?
All right. The 100-year flood elevation, has it been located out there, or is the house inside that elevation?
The entire structure is inside that elevation, correct? Rusty, am I correct saying that?
As far as the flood?
Yes.
Plain?
I don't know that we've actually located the 100-year flood. Not on our survey. What we do have is the 25-foot state waters buffer and the 75-foot county buffer. The 75-foot county buffer goes through the middle of the house.
But the flood elevation has not been located.
To my knowledge. Is that correct, Mr. Berry? The house.
What you'll need to do is get with Community Development and talk to them about our floodplain ordinance. If I'm not mistaken, anything built inside floodplain has to be 2 foot above that 100-year elevation.
Okay.
So you'll need to check with them to ensure. You may even have to get with your surveyor to determine that elevation and then determine what that new finished floor is going to have to be of the addition.
Okay.
Any other questions for him? Okay. This is a public hearing. If there's anyone else here who would like to speak on this matter, please step forward. Seeing no one. Mr. Stokes, are you going to make that a condition of the...
Yeah, I'll make that. I'll add a condition to this variance.
Okay. Hearing no other comment, I'm ready for a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that variance request V13-001 encroachment on the 25-foot impervious setback from the stream buffer, 0.6 acre tract, land lot 415, 835 Flagler Circle, Fairbanks Property Services, be approved with the following condition. that the 100-year floodplain elevation be established and that the applicant comply with the City of Smyrna's floodplain ordinance. Make that in the form of a condition with a motion for approval.
Second motion.
Have a motion and a second on item 2A, Z13-001. Everyone vote, please. That motion's approved, 3-0.
Thank you, guys.
Second item on the agenda, item 2B, is V13-002, public hearing variance request V13-002, reduction of front setback from 35 feet to 27 feet. 0.2 acre tract, land lot 561, 1439 Whitfield Street, Peter Harris and Sons LLC. Oh, that was fast. He's already up there before I was done reading. If you would, state your name and tell us a little bit about what you got going on here.
My name is Robert Harrison. I'm the property owner. We're adding a front porch to the house, and it's going to extend about 6 feet out from the house, but we're requesting an 8-foot setback or reduction in the front setback, just in case.
Okay. Community development.
This is the variance at 1439 Whitfield Street, reduction of front setback from 35 feet to 27 feet. Signs have been posted. There's been no objections to this variance request. Community Development's reviewed the application and recommends approval.
Any conditions?
No.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. If anyone here would like to speak on this matter, please step forward. Seeing none, do either the board have any questions? Entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that this board approve various requests V13-002, reduction of front setback from 35 to 27 feet, 0.2 acre tract, land lot 561 at 1439 Whitfield Street, Peter Harris and Sons LLC.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve variance request V13-002. Please vote. That motion's approved, 3-0. Next item on the list is item 2C, public hearing variance request V13-003, reduction of rear setback from 25 feet to 20 feet. Land lot 382, 744 Park Manor Drive, Acadia Homes and Neighborhoods. Is the applicant here?
I explained to him due to the notification issue that we had, that items was going to be tabled to the next meeting.
Okay, can you explain that on record?
Basically, the applicant did not notify the proper contiguous property owners per the application requirements to make sure that we are adequately notifying all adjoining property owners. We're going to need an extra 2 weeks to make sure they get proper notification.
Okay. What's the next meeting date, Rosemary?
Is the 23rd.
Okay. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone who wishes to speak on behalf of this issue? Seeing none, I entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we table variance request V13-003, reduction of rear yard setback from 25 feet to 20 feet, land lot 382, 744 Park Manor Drive, Arcadia Homes and Neighborhoods. Table that item to January 23rd.
Second motion.
Have a motion and a second on variance request V13-003. Everyone please vote. That motion's approved, 3-0. Next item on the agenda is item D, V13-004, public hearing variance request V13-004, reduction of front setback from 35 feet to 24 feet at .164 acre tract, land lot 449, 2759 Fraser Street, Mark Smith.
That's me.
Mr. Smith, if you would, just state your name and address and tell us about this issue.
My name is Mark Smith, 2800 Spring Creek Place. We're adding a front porch onto this property.
Okay. What is your relationship? Do you own it or are you the builder?
I own the property,
Okay.
and we're fixing it up to move in.
Okay. Can you tell?
Yeah, there's other properties with similar front porches, and we try to make it look like the same front porch in the area.
Okay.
So there's other properties like it. So
Okay. If you could just step aside for just a second, let's hear from community development.
There's a request at 2759 Fraser Street, reduction of front setback from 35 feet to 24 feet. It's an existing home that wants to do a remodeled front porch. We've posted signs. There's been no objection. Community Development's reviewed the application and recommends approval with no conditions.
Okay. This is a public hearing. If there's anyone here who would like to speak on this matter, please step forward. Seeing none, you stepping forward to speak, sir? Okay, if you would. State your name for the record and add your comments.
My name is Joel Powell. I grew up at 2721 Fraser Street. My parents still live there. And I have no objection to the adding the front porch. Glad he's fixing up the house. The house is in dire need of repairs. The only request I would ask is there's been extended work hours on the site. Midnight, after 10 p.m. I've seen it. Just would ask that any exterior work that's done would be done in accordance with normal hours of operation for the city of Smyrna. Thank you.
Did you hear his comments? Can you speak to that?
First, I'd like to apologize. It was New Year's Eve, and we were up on the roof working because it was going to rain, and we tried to get it dried in. And I do apologize for that because it was New Year's Eve. Everybody was complaining that they wanted to get off, and we just had to get a tarp over the roof and get things set up. So that was my fault altogether.
Okay.
That won't happen again.
Can we have your assurances that you'll comply with the city's the city has regulations about work hours?
Right.
Okay. And if you need to know exactly what those are, Community Development can definitely share that with you.
Okay,
We need to have your assurance that we're not going to have any issues with that.
Correct.
Okay.
We've got a sheet of paper that we normally distribute with all permits that gives the city work hours in both English and Spanish for display with the permit.
Okay. Thank you, Rusty. Anyone else wish to speak on this matter? Seeing none, entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that this board approve variance request V13-004 for the reduction of front setback from 35 feet to 24 feet, 0.164 acre tract, land lot 449 at 2759 Fraser Street, applicant Mark Smith, with one condition that the applicant agrees to adhere to city code and ordinance in relation to construction hours.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve V13-004. Please vote. That motion is approved 3-0. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, item E, is a public hearing for a application for a change of applicant for alcohol license. It's LIC 2012-06, public hearing Walgreens 05901, application for change of applicant for alcohol license for beer and wine retail package for Walgreens Company DBA Walgreens number 05901, Carla H. Payne as the agent at 2390 South Cobb Drive. If you would, state your name for the record.
My name is Carla Hill Payne.
Okay. Ms. Payne, have you received a copy of the city's regulations in reference to alcohol sales?
Yes, I have, and I've also attended the RATS class.
Okay, and when did you attend that class?
November 9th of 2012.
Of 2012. So you're familiar with our regulations and how important the city government believes it is to prevent the sale of alcohol to minors?
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about what type of procedures you have in place or training at the location to prevent this sale of alcohol to minors?
Yes, we have our internal training, which is called People Plus Learning. It is a module set up that every employee must take. It notifies them that they have to card everyone under the age of 40. If they appear to be 40 or anywhere abouts, they have to card them regardless if they are a first-time customer or they come every day. We also have in place, my rule in the store is that you card everyone because you never know. We also have everyone in our store is set up in the computer system that they cannot sell if they are underage or if they don't have a permit. It will not even allow them to log into the register.
What is your position at Walgreens?
Store manager.
So you manage that location?
I do.
Okay. Are you aware, and I guess, do you know if your employees are aware that Smyrna Police will do undercover operations and send minors and attempt to purchase alcohol?
Yes, and we also have them set up from our company as well. They come in, and we recently had one for tobacco.
Okay. Are you aware, and do you know if your employees are aware that if one of your employees were to sell to a minor and it was part of Smyrna Police investigation, that the employee will go to jail on the spot?
They are aware.
Okay. All right.
Got a question. Can you go to the pharmacy counter and buy alcohol?
You can. And they go through the same training.
So all the pharmacists and
All the
whatever
pharmacists, the technicians, everyone is
Everybody's
required to
taking
have
that
the same training. Everyone's required to have the permit that's required by Smyrna. In addition to the Smyrna regulations, we also have our own regulations.
Okay. All right. Jim Cox?
Jim Cox, business license officer for the city.
For the record, for the board, have you reviewed the application, and can you tell us that everything's in order that needs to be?
Yeah, we have all the signatures required.
Okay. And everything else has been compliant? Everything's in compliance?
Everything's compliant. Simple change of agent.
Okay. Thank you, sir. This is a public hearing. If there's anyone that would like to speak on this matter, please step forward. Seeing no one, I entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that this board approve public hearing for Walgreens number 05901, application for change of applicant for alcohol licenses for beer and wine retail package for Walgreens Company doing business as Walgreens number 05901. Carla H. Payne is the agent at 2390 South Cobb Drive.
Second the motion.
Just to clarify, your motion is to approve Carl H. Payne as the new agent?
That is correct.
Okay. Have a motion and a second. Everybody please vote. That's approved 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day. The last item on the, I'm sorry, the second to the last item. The next item on the agenda is item F, and is the item number is LIC 2012-08. It's an appeal of denial of privilege license for alcohol sales. Mr. Tucker?
I guess the first thing I'd like to say is to apologize to the board for chewing gum while I talk to you. I've taken some cold medicine, and I don't know that I can talk without doing it. So
Okay.
I apologize to the board. We're going to take a little bit of testimony on this matter, so let's have Lindsay O'Neill from the police department and the applicant step up and take an oath, please. So would you both raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes, sir. All right. Let's, Miss O'Neill, if you'll come up. I know the board has seen you many times, Miss O'Neill, but for the record, please state your name and your position with the city.
I'm Lindsay O'Neill, and I'm the permits clerk at the police department.
And as permits clerk, what do you do over there at the police department?
I issue permits and run background checks and do fingerprints.
All right. And the board has been provided with a copy of the GCIC criminal history on this applicant. Is the what they've been provided, is that a record that the police department keeps in the regular course of business?
Yes.
And you've reviewed this GCIC report? Mm-hmm. And this is a true and accurate copy of the report that you received from GCIC?
Yes,
right?
That's what I ran on December 17th when he came in, Mr. Clark came in.
Okay, that's all I have for you.
Okay.
Thank you. Does anyone from the board have any questions for Ms. O'Neill? All right. Ms. Clark, if you'll step up here, please.
Yes, sir.
All right, state your name for the board, please.
Jamil S. Clark.
So, where do you reside?
I reside at 1 Villa Court, Smyrna, Georgia.
That's here in the city of Smyrna?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and where are you employed?
At Red Lobster on Cobb Parkway.
And what do you currently do at Red Lobster?
I'm a server assistant.
Okay. Mm-hmm. what's involved in being a server assistant?
Well, pretty much I'm helping the servers, bus tables, run their food, maybe take a couple orders, refill drinks, simple stuff.
But you do not currently serve any alcohol to patrons of the restaurant?
Not at all.
Right, okay. And so what are you applying for here with the city?
I'm applying for my alcohol permit.
Okay. And you're aware that according to the city ordinance, if you have a felony conviction within the past 5 years, you're not eligible, absent a special variance granted by the board or the governing authority of the city.
Yes, sir.
To serve alcohol at your restaurant.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And have you had a chance to look at your GCIC criminal background history?
Yes, sir.
All right. And is there anything in the criminal background history that was turned up by the GCIC report that is not true?
I do not think so.
Okay. So all of the various charges that you face, most of which are quite minor.
Yes.
But everything that's in the report is true.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you have a currently pending felony charge in Clayton County?
Not at all.
You don't?
No.
Can I show you something in the GCIC report?
Yes, sir.
All right. The last, I'll call the board's attention to cycle 9 of 9. And it's hard to make out, but up at the top of the page, this will be on page 18 of 22. The GCIC report shows, and I'm going to show this to the applicant here, on October the 6th,
yes,
an arrest in Clayton County,
yes,
on a charge of battery, family violence, that is a felony charge by virtue of being a probation violation. Is that a currently pending charge?
No, sir. I served a week in Clayton County Jail for the probation violation, and I don't know why it shows up like that, but that's pretty much the same charge as before. So from, I think it was 2005, 2006.
All right, but the report that we have doesn't show a disposition on this.
Yes, it was just a probation violation. I violated my probation. I had missed the visitation.
Okay.
Yeah.
But and so what was the punishment for that?
I'm on intense probation right now.
Okay.
Yes, until May of this year, and I will be off of probation completely in September. First offender's probation.
Let's have the board ask some questions, and then we'll take some legal advice.
Okay. Is your testimony, sir, that this event that happened in October is not a separate charge? You weren't involved in a battery or family violence incident in October?
No, sir.
You're saying you violated your probation for what?
For missing a visitation. They put a warrant out on me, and that's when I got arrested in October.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Lindsay, can you come up and talk about that?
Let's have Ms. O'Neill come back.
The probation violation was for an original charge for battery, family violence, and that's why it shows up like that. If you look at arrest number 5, so cycle 5 of 9, it's listed as a misdemeanor for family violence battery, but per the code in the law book, 16-5-23.1, subsection F2, the second charge of battery family violence is automatically a felony, and on his criminal history he was awarded first offender status, but because he was arrested after that for driving while suspended license, that first offender status was revoked. Therefore, that became his felony. It's not on the history, but on your history you will see that his first offender status was revoked on there, and that's why it's a felony. Therefore, that's why his last arrest was listed as a felony for his probation violation, if that makes sense.
So this started as a misdemeanor for family violence,
Yes.
and because he didn't go by the rules, it got upgraded to a felony.
Yes.
And this last incident in October is not a new felony; it's just a probation violation for that felony.
Yes.
So he has one felony.
Yes, and that's what denied him from getting the permit in the first place was this the arrest in 2010, which he was convicted for. He was put on first offender status on July 21st of 2011, but then that first offender status was revoked on November 11th, 2011.
Okay. Thank questions? Got any questions? Questions? Okay. Do you have anything else you'd like to say before we go into executive session and consider your case?
Yes, sir. I've been a server before at out of state. I've taken serve safe classes. As it states, I've only had this one felony on my record. I didn't quite know that my first offenders was revoked, but you know, I've showed where my managers would like me to become a server, and you know, this is just a part of becoming that, and really that's the only reason that I would like to, you know, have my alcohol permit. I'm just trying to get things together, sir, so you know, this will help a lot.
A question. You had submitted I guess a letter from your employer.
Yes.
It's not dated, so that's not much of use. Does your employer know your background?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, just to make sure we're clear on this, you have one felony.
Yes.
And what was that for?
Battery, family violence.
Family violence. And what year was that?
I thought it was older than that, but from what she's saying, it's
So if you look at cycle 5, it shows as 2010.
okay.
2010, you were arrested for family violence and was upgraded to a felony.
Yes.
Okay. And since then, what other kind of run-ins have you had?
Just the driving on a suspended license. That's it.
Okay.
Excuse me, Mr. Clark, that, just for clarification, the suspended license charge, that was the 2011 offense? Is that correct?
Yeah, I believe so. Yes, sir.
Okay. And the most recent issue from October of 2012, again, just for clarification for the record, was for a probation violation from the original charge.
Yes.
That stemmed from a visitation, a miss on a visitation.
Yeah, well, it was kind of a compilation of the driving on a suspended license, missing the visitation, kind of thing. Yes, sir.
Because both of those are violations of your probation, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. You're saying missing visitation. You mean you missed visiting your probation officer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you tell us what type of I know you said intense probation, but can you explain to the board what that entails?
Well, I have a 7 o'clock curfew when I'm not at work. I have to take drug and alcohol classes. Community service, family violence classes, and other than the monthly fines, I believe that's about it.
Do you meet with the probation officer once a month?
She comes to the house, comes to the job.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said you have community service and drug and alcohol classes. Have you taken any of those yet?
No, sir. I went to do the evaluation for my drug and alcohol class yesterday, but the evaluator was out with the illness, so I'm still in the midst of doing that. I've been on intense probation since November. So.
Yeah.
But the drug and alcohol courses you have to take were mandated when?
In November, due to my intense probation.
What prompted the intense probation?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. When you violated your probation in October and you went back to jail for a week, did your probation status change at that point?
Yes, it was just regular first offender's probation, then they bumped it up to intense probation.
Okay, so all that's new as of November of last year.
Yes.
Okay.
But I guess but I'm back on the drug and alcohol issue. When were you told you have to take those classes?
In November, yes. Yes, sir.
So the drug and alcohol classes weren't part of your original probation?
No, sir.
They were added after you violated probation?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Why?
Yeah, why is there drug and alcohol? Do you have a drug and alcohol offense?
No, sir. From what I understand, it's just a requirement of intense probation.
Just to clarify, Chief, if you'll go back, you'll see that there have been charges but no convictions of record of such.
Okay. That are related to that type of incident?
Right.
Okay. All right. Can you tell us about, before we go in, I know you said you were trying to get your life back on track. Can you tell us about your lifestyle and your habits, and what can you tell us to show the board that we're not going to have future incidents, because, this is going on for a while?
Yes, sir. Well, dropped out of high school, started hanging with the wrong people, wrong kind of ideas. I'm 29 years old now, and these minor bumps, and I'm getting kind of beat down because of minor bumps. It's kind of really changing my mind state, sir. And I'm a full-time student now. I don't work full-time hours, but I work 5 days a week. I'm staying at home with my mother until I get myself together. Well, until I get off probation. And other than that,
Where are you a full-time student?
DeVry University.
Okay. And when did you start that?
I started that, I believe that was October, and before then I was going to Lincoln College. I graduated there 2010. I received my associates in applied science from there.
Okay. Any more questions from the board? Okay, I entertain a motion for executive session.
I make a motion this board convene for executive session.
Second.
A motion and a second to go into executive session. Please vote. That's approved 3-0. We'll go to executive session. We'll be right back with you in just a minute.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion that this License and Variance Board reconvene after executive session.
Second.
Have a motion and second to reconvene into official business. Please vote. That's approved 3-0. We are back in session. Mr. Clark, at this point, I'm going to defer to Chief Akery and let him say a few words.
Mr. Clark, we appreciate you coming in today. We all have your personal letter that you wrote. We have also with your application, the note from your service manager. And we certainly appreciate the efforts that you're taking to do, as you say, kind of get your life back on track. And we have a desire to be a part of that as much as we can be. But I'm going to ultimately make a motion in a few minutes that this board table this until the next session, which will be in 2 weeks. And the reason that I'm going to have to do that is because we have rules that we have to follow. And one of those rules say that if the GCIC report, the report that came from the police department that we have in front of us, shows a pending felony, then we have no option but to deny the appeal. I'm sorry, but to postpone. Thank you, sir. But what we're mandated to do at that point is to postpone the appeal indefinitely until you can show us proof that that is or is not the case. The fact that there's a new pending felony. So, what that means for you is, in a minute, I'm going to make a motion that we table this until the next meeting.
Okay.
Which will be in 2 weeks.
Okay.
And what we're going to need to see is a clarification from Clayton County, something from Clayton County showing us that you, in fact, do not have a new and pending felony, that you're still awaiting some type of trial or disposition.
Okay.
So,
do you think I can just get something from my probation officer? Maybe that might be a little bit easier.
I'd probably start there. I'm not really prepared to offer legal advice because I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think that would.
As a practical matter, your probation officer might be able to tell you who in the DA's office in Clayton County you need to talk to, just to get an official record that this isn't pending.
But we do need an official record from Clayton County.
Yeah, so if you can get us something in the next, before the next meeting, if you can get us some kind of proof from Clayton County saying that this is what happened and no, in fact, there is not a new felony, then we can hear this case over again, and it may help us to make a different decision.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
Do I bring that in with me for the next hearing, or do I contact Ms. Hyatt, I believe that's how you say it?
Well, you want to answer it? Yeah, you need to contact the city clerk's office.
Okay.
And I was going to add that before we were done, is that you need to be in contact with them whether you're going to get it or you're not going to get it, because when it comes up in 2 weeks, we'll go ahead and put it on. When it comes up in 2 weeks, if we haven't heard from you, we'll probably deny it. I mean, if you're just a no-show. But if you keep us in the loop, we can always postpone it again or table it further out if it takes you longer to get it. As long as you stay in contact with the city clerk's office and keep them up to what's going on, we'll push it forward if we have to. But at some point, if we just quit hearing from you, we'll just deny it and move on to something else. So make sure you stay in contact with the city clerk's office.
Yes, sir.
That's important that you do that.
Yes, sir.
And Susan Hyatt, just for the record, will be leaving the city next Monday, so you can't really ask for her specifically. I don't know who the city clerk will be, but Susan Hyatt has left the city. I mean, she's only got a few days left.
Okay.
So.
Again, sir, Mr. Clark, we appreciate your efforts, and as much as we can be, we'd like to be a part of that. So, we're doing this in an effort to help you out, and hopefully, you'll be able to get the documentation that you need, and we can hear this again.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything, Scott?
I'm good.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, with that being said, I'd like to make a motion that this board table the appeal for the denial of privilege license for Mr. Jamil Clark until the January 23rd of 13 License and Variance Board meeting.
Second.
A motion and a second to table the appeal for denial of privilege license for Mr. Clark. Everyone, please vote. That's approved 3-0.
All right.
We'll see you. Hopefully, Mr. Clark, we'll see you on the 23rd, and we can clear this matter up.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is item 3A, approval of minutes. Approval of the minutes from the License and Variance Board meeting from December 12, 2012. That's item 2012-193.
Make a motion to approve minutes.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve item 3A. All in favor? That's approved 3-0. With no further business before this body, I'll declare us adjourned at 10:40.